Hello, I'm Robbie and today we're starting a raised bed. Now if you're really rugged and manly you could probably chop down a tree or something and build a raised bed using your bare hands. But I'm not, so I'm going to order one from the internet. When I'm buying things on the internet I like to make sure I've got the best possible deal, but that's not going to be a problem today because today's video is sponsored by Pouch. What's Pouch, you may ask? Well, as you'd expect of a product that chooses to sponsor this channel, Pouch is awesome. Pouch is a free browser extension that spends its life scouring the internet looking for discount codes and then applies them when you go to buy something on the web. It saves you time and money with no effort at all and works on over 3,000 UK websites. That's loads! Now some of you are probably thinking, I don't need that, Robbie, I've got something a bit like that already. Well guess what? You're wrong, because Pouch works on more UK e-commerce sites than any other browser extension, meaning if you live in the UK, you need to get Pouch as well. This is how it works. You do your shopping as usual, then when you get to the checkout, Pouch just pops up out of nowhere and says, "Oi, Robbie, I found 15 discount codes. Want me to see if I can save you a few quid?" You say yes, because you're not an idiot, and Pouch gets to work, leaving no discount stone unturned in its search for the greatest price. Once Pouch has finished its work, it applies the best code and tells you how much money you've saved. In this case, £8.55. What a legend! Oh, did I mention that Pouch only takes a couple of seconds to install? That's good, isn't it? Now I think we can all agree that people who don't use Pouch are complete imbeciles. So don't be like them. Click on the link in the description down below and you can install it for yourself. And by using this link, it lets Pouch know that I've sent you along, like going, "Oi, Robbie sent me," in a menacing action hero voice. So do that. Help support the channel and get yourself some money and off of stuff. Thanks, Pouch. Now, where's my raised bed kit got to? So the first thing we need to do is work out where it's going to go, and I think we're going to put this down the side of the garden there, but the grass is a bit long and there's some bushes and branches and stuff, so let's trim a bit of that back. So I've trimmed the lawn obviously so we've got a flat surface to put the bed down on, no big weeds and stuff. I'll chop back the hedge a bit because partly I want to make sure there's enough sunlight getting to it, and also as I've noticed in this bed over here, when you've got branches going over it you get a lot of flowers and things falling into it and seeds, and then you get loads of weeds, so just try to do that now to save the effort. Also I quite like chopping off bits of a bush. It makes you feel powerful, like I'm choosing which branches live and which die. So I've made a few of these raised beds over the years and they're generally fairly similar. They're come with long bits of wood and short bits of wood, unless you're making a square one, and some things that go in the corner and some screws, and you generally just need a screwdriver, I find. I don't know, that might not be what turns out to be the case, but in the past that's what I've ever really needed. So we're going to do that. The previous couple I've got over here are a bit more ornate, but the wood's thinner and this is a bit more solid wood. I think this will probably last longer. It's only more expensive, and I don't think you want to go too cheap in this because ideally it should do you many a year, a raised bed, so you probably want to get a decent-ish one. So there we go, the frame is built. So next we're going to position the raised bed where we want it to live, and then I'm going to use this tool I found in the shed. I didn't buy it, it was here when we got the house. I think it's for doing edges. I'm going to use this to mark out the area we're going to have to dig. Nah, that's not working. No, I'll be honest with you, the ground's too hard. I should have soaked it for a bit now. It's too hard to dig. I can't be bothered to soak it, so I'm just going to put the topsoil on top of it, which you're probably not supposed to do, but it's hot in it. Now I'm aware that there's going to be a lot of people who watch these videos who just find them thinking they're going to learn how to do a raised bed properly, and you've probably worked out that I don't really know what I'm doing by now. But I've got ton of topsoil. I haven't got a, what do you call it, wheelbarrow, so I'm just going to have to carry it back in to the garden in buckets. It's going to take ages. Oh well. This is going to take quite a while to do, so while I'm doing this I'm going to set the kids up with the new slipping slide they've got. That's taken a while. I think what we're going to do next is get a couple of bags of compost, or maybe a bag and a half. I got one already open. I'd add that to it as well, because at the minute it's just topsoil, but you want some compost to give that goodness for the vegetables to grow. Now that's about there, but I think when you put water into raised beds and it gets wet, everything sort of sinks down a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a big hosing down now, just get it nice and wet, and then we'll see how it looks a little bit later on. This doesn't seem to have sunk too far, so we're just going to give it a rake out and then we can start planting some stuff. Right, so let's have a look at what we're going to plant in this raised bed. I've got a few things that have been growing on the mantelpiece that we're going to start with, and if there's any room after that, we'll go from there. Butternut squash plants, you might remember in a previous episode I got some butternut squash seeds and put them in pots to see if they grow. Well, they have. This one's, we'll go with that one. I've neglected some of these a bit. But these two are butternut squash, they're looking good, so they can get planted. The back row here is cucumber, I think. I've never really grown cucumber. I don't know how they grow, which is quite common when I'm growing things. Like, I don't know if they go, if the fruit comes underground up there, because they look quite clean when they come out. I imagine they come out maybe on a bush or something. I don't know, we'll find out. But that's that excitement there for that row. Over here is asparagus. Now asparagus is a long game because you don't get it for like a year or two, and only a couple of them have properly grown, so I'm not sure. I'll make a little corner for them. We can see if we can get asparagus eventually, because I do like asparagus. And over here are some vegetables that I traded with Steve the fireman. There's 2 tomato plants I've already planted over there, another 2 of a different variety of tomato plants, and these 2 are pumpkins. So we can get our own, hopefully get our own decent pumpkins around Halloween to carve. Again, I've never grown pumpkins. There goes, just go out somewhere. The good thing about it is if you've got friends who do grow things, is certainly for things like tomatoes, you'll get like hundreds of tomato seeds in a pack, or well, maybe not hundreds, but you'll get probably at least 30. And if you plant them, you'll get loads of tiny tomato plants. So I've got still loads on the side, but if people get different varieties of seeds, then you can do little trades with them. And we've traded the courgette plants, we've traded with some people up the road, all socially distanced of course. And as I say, the tomato plants we've traded with Steve. So yeah, it's a good little community spirit in the world of village gardening. Almost forgot, Brussels sprouts. So we're gonna hopefully have some of these with Christmas dinner in December, obviously. And I think there might be another asparagus there. Asparagus? I don't know, but it's there. So, yeah, they've got more to plant. We might have room for. We'll have a look. We'll see if how we can do. Okay, so we're going to start. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. We're going to start with the pumpkin plants that Steve, the firefighter, kind of donated. I've just Googled it, and apparently pumpkin plants like to live on little mounds. So I'm just going to get some compost and make little hills for them to live on. So they've got a lovely view. Great, now the pumpkins have got their mountains, it's time to put them in them. Budnut squash now, and I think they need a lot of space, a bit like the pumpkins, so I'm going to put them about here. I think these all might be too close together, but I'm not wasting an entire raised bed on a couple of squash. Now, one of the things I find annoying about gardening is when you look online and you see how much space plants need, they need loads. So for example here, this is pretty much as much space they get. We can put maybe a couple of Brussels sprout plants in and then the raised bed is full. I'm not having that though, so I'm going to plant more than it says I should and just see what happens, I think. What you can also do is plant some rows in between of things that will grow quickly, like I plant lettuce in between things. Over there I've done lettuce in between a couple of rows of carrots, because by the time the carrots get big, you'll have picked the lettuces and eaten them, so I'd be alright. The lettuces are pretty much ready to eat now. So I'm going to plant maybe 3 Brussels sprouts plants here, and I might chuck a cheeky cucumber in somewhere as well. Oh god, and the asparagus. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. So there we go, that's the raised bed done. I'll probably put in, as I say, a few quick growing crops like lettuce or maybe some herbs or something like that along the sides, just while we're waiting for the pumpkins and the squash to take over everything. But for now, I'm pretty pleased with that. In true Blue Peter style though, here's one I made earlier. This is the first raised bed I planted of the season. We've got peas down there, and the first lot I planted too early, they died, so I just planted new ones, so they'll come up. And we'll get a thing for them to climb up, some string or something for them to climb up, some canes. Carrots, they're coming on nicely. A few weeds there. I've not been on top of weeding here because a lot of the time early on I don't know what the vegetables look like, so I don't know what to weed and what to leave in. But now you can sort of say, okay, those are carrots, so anything that doesn't look like that is gone. Another row of carrots here, and as I said earlier, I've planted lettuce in the gaps here so that you can harvest them, so they're ready to eat now. I mean, have a look. Should we pick one? Let's go this one. So there we go. That's ready now, so I'm going to have a bit of that in a minute. And then, so the lettuce will be gone, and then the carrots can grow up. Over here we've got beetroot. Again, in the middle here I'm growing some parsley, because get through a lot of parsley in there. And then some more carrots at the end. So you can fit quite a lot of stuff in. Once you do start harvesting stuff as well, you can start to put in plants for later on if you're sensible. Sometimes you can start off plants inside that are for the autumn, winter sort of time, and then plant them out once you've got space in your raised beds. But it takes a bit of concentration, a bit of planning, but the rewards are immeasurable. I mean, it's just extra vegetables, but it's hard to measure. So thanks for watching. If you want to start your own raised bed, and I do get a lot of pictures and videos of people who've been inspired by these things to start gardening, and I love them, so do keep sending them in. But if you do want to buy a raised bed, I'd recommend the one I bought today more than the previous ones I've got. It's a bit more sturdy. I've got a link down below. Don't forget, get a bit of cash off with Pouch. So cheers for Pouch for sponsoring it. You absolute legends. Thanks for watching. Say bye, Arlo. What was that finger? Bye what?